So I'm home. I'm visiting home. I'm on my holidays. And so I'm visiting Detroit, Michigan, staying in my parents' lovely house that I grew up in. And I was going through my drawers to find some. I have a whole bunch of don't get excited.
Well, you're going back and forth here between. I mean, when you say holidays, is it Christmas in England? So you came home to the States, and now you're talking about getting in your drawers. I'm trying to keep track of all of the slang you're using because you're, at this point, intercontinental.
She didn't say knicker, so I'm assuming it's a bureau. And then she said holiday, which is an English term for vacation.
But when she wears her knickers across the pond, do they become drawers now? I'm unsure.
Right?
What's the exchange rate on that?
And I'm the asshole because I can't get the computer on.
So I was going.
You proceed with your story. I'm so sorry.
So I was going through my drawers, my nightstand next to my bed, and I found these old
Lubricants?
these old senior photos.
Oh my!
Ooh. So I picked out all the men that have sent me theirs, right?
Ooh.
Oh God!
You reaching out to all of them?
There's one.
I'm a big podcaster now across the pond. Would you like to be on my program?
There's one that has a phone number on it, and I'm real tempted. I'm not gonna lie.
Do it.
But I just wanted to read a few of these because
Stay cool.
What we
Have a kick-ass summer.
Yeah, what we write on these things and in our yearbooks is to die for. Hey Kay, what's up, girl? This year has been fun. I'm glad that we've had a few classes together and been able to talk a little. I think we should definitely hang out this summer. Give me a call sometime. Seriously.
Ooh. So definitely open to mingle was that one. Do you have a name for that face?
I'm not going to say the name.
Oh, fair enough. We've already revealed their photos for everyone to see on YouTube.
It's a mystery.
Fair enough.
Let's see. Kay, lunch is great. Sitting in the hall. You have a great personality, and I hope to around your... Was he drunk?
I mean, the personality part, that's a slap in the face, Kay. But then it says something about getting you around, which I don't know. We came from different eras of high school, so maybe that was lingity for something else. But
I hope to around next year. You couldn't even write next.
Oh, you're around next year, like hopefully.
And I hope to around year. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That was my face.
This is the state of Michigan school system right here.
Yeah, I'm just guessing this is the all that sauce portion of the podcast.
Did any of them play sports, and what was their high school batting average, Kate?
Right. By God.
Or by God, at least tell us what base they got to. Did you just hold up a 2? Did you just hold up a 2?
Welcome to Sweat Socks and All That Sauce with Justin K. and Todd, where no sport is off limits and the debates are debatable. But we're giving the conversation going for all of you at home. Give us your thoughts on each and every single one we have. We finally have a YouTube channel and Instagram and a TikTok at Sweat Socks Podcast.
OMG.
As always, we ask that you share, like, and subscribe and leave reviews. We may not become the #1 podcast, but we can always try to just sit here and continue to jibber jabber for about absolutely nothing for everybody who does listen. Today's
The
debate.
important part is that our families think we're cool. So
My dad was pissing himself laughing earlier. It was quite funny.
well, that's good. We appreciate your support, James. Make sure you comment in the section on the YouTube channel or TikToks or wherever it is you were on. Do we have the logins for these social medias, Kay? I really feel like Todd and I should be contributing to these social media outlets.
I have sent them to you. You have all the logins.
Did you mail them to me, like on a laminated document? I haven't. If I've seen these or not. It's probably just taking a while to get here from England. It would be my guess.
Probably.
Okay, I have put cryptocurrency in cold storage, and it is simpler than this. I'm not lying.
Technology is great, except for when it's not. And here we are.
Today's debate, the outlook of the upcoming 2024 NFL season. I've done some research.
Makes one of us.
Yeah.
That makes one of us very good. I only ever usually pay attention, shocker, to the Lions. I watched a lot more games last year because I was actually a part of a fantasy football league for the first time in since 8 years. I think was the last time I did it. I did some research, got bored a bit, and so I created my own little bracket of sorts for this.
Kay, is the reason that you came back to Michigan from England so that you could catch the first Lions preseason game in the Motor City?
It worked out very well, didn't it?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, right.
Well, but I'm not really in football mode yet because my baseball team still has a rat's ass chance in hell of making it to the playoffs.
They're in first place.
All my energies are kind of focused that way. But let's get real. This is now officially the time of year when once a week every dude in America is going to stand up and go, "It's a big third down right here."
They do all do that, don't they?
just once?
Yes. Right, no, every week.
It could be fucking preseason game 1, and we are still making that exclamation. It's great analysis, by the way.
Hey, and you know me, Justin. I love all the sports. I love football as much as the next guy. I'm more of a baseball guy because for as much as I do like football, it really does combine two of the worst things in American life. Violence punctuated by committee meetings.
Wouldn't it be great instead of a huddle, they could just do this in an email? It'd really speed the game up when you think about it. And I got to be honest, here's the main thing I want to focus on when we talk about the NFL preseason. Who gives a flying fuck? Why are we still doing the NFL preseason? Why can't they just get out there? I say
they're going to. They're going to go to 18 games.
Thank God.
It's practically a done deal.
You know what? Practice so that you're ready for game 1. Everyone's going to be rusty in game 1, but you know what? The starter's going to be out there, and it's going to count for something. Yeah. Will people get hurt? Yes, but they do anyway. They get hurt in preseason games. They get hurt in practice. Right. It's just inevitability. It's what happens in the NFL. So let's quit pretending like these preseason games matter. Quit jobbing the season ticket holders, by the way, who are forced to, if you buy season tickets, to fucking buy the preseason games too.
That you can hardly give away.
Nobody
can
wants them.
Give them away.
Oh my God! And why not? It's gotten even worse. I mean, the starters play 0 games now. It is just an embarrassment.
So what do the preseason games actually do?
They use them to, basically, evaluate talent. Mostly, guys that are new to the squad or your second, third stringers trying to determine who on this team is going to make the final cut. So it's a bunch of scabs playing against a bunch of scabs, and then eventually a lot of them just go home. And then these guys that ran into each other a bunch maybe see the field a couple plays a week. It's a big waste of time. But it does allow the NFL to sell more advertising, which is important. God bless the NFL. That being said, I'm not boycotting it. I'm watching every week. I don't care how many streaming services they make me sign up for. I will have them all. I feel like eventually it will be 18. Each week, a game will be on a different platform, and you will have to have that service. And by God, I'm going to have them all.
This was the research I did. I don't know who's the prohibitive favorites going into the preseason.
It's the Vikings.
I know that this will depend on it'll depend on your choices, but if you have YouTube TV and NFL Sunday Ticket plus Peacock, ESPN Plus, Amazon Prime, and Netflix for just the 4 months of the football season, that's going to cost you about $800. Now, many of those streamers offer some bundle packages.
Of course.
At a little bit of a discount. Take the plunge for a year, and if you're prepared to do so, you get ready to fork over about $1,600. Now, you two are both displaced fans, fans of a team that you don't live in that area. So you have to, and that's what I wanted to ask people to comment or tell us. What are your ethical and unethical ways of viewing? Because I know there's dudes that are like, you get to get a VPN and back to, but Justin, I've seen you do some trickery.
I don't know what you were talking about, Todd. I subscribe to all of the platforms legally. I do not create a VPN. I do not use a illegal Russian website to find my Vikings games that occasionally don't work and have to F5 the computer.
And that's virus and porn ahoy, man, when you get on those things.
You know what? The thing is that, my laptop is already laden with that from the amount of pornography that has been viewed on it, so who cares? You know what? It's fine. You know what? You want my personal information, it's yours. The crippling debt is yours. Enjoy it, identity thief. Yeah. I got nothing to lose except maybe a couple hours on a Sunday where I watch my Vikings get the shit kicked out of them by the Lions, which ain't fucking happening this year, Kay. I tell you that right now.
It sure as hell is happening this
Oh,
year.
I don't know if you know this or not about the Vikings. They are the Cubs. The Cubs used to be the Cubs. They're not the Cubs anymore. The Vikings are now the Cubs. And guess what? We are the lovable losers, and this is the year we are no longer the Cubs.
It's
It'd be the
not
Lions.
happening this year. It's not happening this year. I'll give you next year. It's not happening this year. You've just lost your quarterback.
We definitely need a K Justin wager. I don't know if it's which team finishes ahead of the other in the Central.
Oh, boy.
Or you play 2 games against each other. I don't know, but there's definitely going to be some sort of wager.
Well, I know the only way that I like to wager these days is like I've got this this tattoo because I lost the bet. And
Look
then
at that Seattle Seahawks tattoo.
and then I've got this awesome Trident Sup Mariners tattoo because I also lost a bet. Now,
All his buddies, when he goes back to Minnesota, are like, why do you like Aquaman so much?
it is true. That's what they call me. The limp-wristed Aquaman.
You're 0 for 2. You're 0 for 2. I'm gladly going to take a bet with you. Gladly.
Okay, how about this? How about this? If a chance in hell that one of our 2 teams won the Super Bowl. So I'll say this, Kay. Lions win the Super Bowl, I will get a Lions tattoo. Vikings win the Super Bowl, you get a Vikings tattoo. You win?
The thing that I'm really gonna struggle with. I know, talk. The thing that I'm gonna struggle with is, look, I'm getting all rashy just thinking about it. the thing, and I have 3 tattoos, right? I've got 3. It's not like I have a fear of tattoos. Minnesota was a big part of my life, and I left that in the past. And I'm to have
Even
that
better. This is
Yeah.
making it even better.
Yeah.
have
Don't
that
worry, we'll put this
permanently-
more prominent so you see it all the time, Kay. Big deal. No, that's fine. You want to put it in your ass, put it in your ass. I don't care. I just want proof that it's there. At this point, I'm so confident that the Lions won't win the Super Bowl. I mean, I'd Post Malone that shit on my face. Whatever. It's not happening. So
I don't think it's about. So you're saying Super Bowl?
Super Bowl victory. Yeah, that's the only way I would do it. And yeah, because that way there's a very, very good chance that neither of us get a tattoo. But on the outside chance, you imagine about 20 weeks from now, 22 weeks from now, when we got one of these teams actually in like the NFC Championship
God,
game.
now I
God
want
forbid,
this to
Super
happen
Bowl.
so bad so that one of these episodes, Kay will have to drop trow and show us her Skol Hole.
Yeah. The Skol Hole. I think we found the name of this episode.
I will
It's
take
just a picture of Victor the Viking going, Skol. So
Strategically.
when you bend over, it looks like Victor is making the skull chant. And then I want a
Yes.
photo. We need to get you to U.S. Bank Stadium with a picture of it at the Gyaller horn so it looks like it is actually blowing the big horn in the stadium.
My perfect world, the Seahawks and Vikings face off at the Super Bowl. What are we, 58-9? And if the Vikings win, I won't even care at this point.
Yeah. We need Seattle or Minnesota to jump the AFC. We need this to happen. My God. This is fantastic. What a great idea. I'm glad we're all in on it. I mean, do we put, there's no way to 3-way this bet. I'd be like, if the Seahawks win the Super Bowl.
I have no tats.
Yeah.
So that would be.
Boy, that Vikings logo sure would look good on you, though.
So
Oh.
did the Lions one.
That would at least, I could at least explain that away. That's my last fucking name. So I could be like, yeah, well, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He'll get the Lions, and then he'll put Todd above it. And everyone think it's just a punny, fun way.
Lions Clan rocks the house.
All right. That's fine. I mean, if you're willing to put that up, I suppose you get the Lions. But then you and Kay have to have a separate bet then. So, again, if the Lions
Yeah,
win,
I think-
if
I
the
think-
Seahawks win, Kay has to get a Seahawks tattoo.
We'll flush this out.
And the reason I don't have to be in that one, Kay, is because I've already made that bad bet.
You guys know way more about the ins and outs of the NFL. Again, like I said earlier, I know Travis Kelce plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. I know the Detroit Lions are the best team. So I'm going to learn. So I have some questions that I want to ask you guys. But before we get into that, Todd, can you give us some of the latest in sports news, please?
I know we've moved on from the Olympics, but truly the biggest story in the sports world as of this recording is French pole vaulter Anthony Ammirati attempting a jump and failing because the bulge below his belt bumped the crossbar. His dream of winning gold was dashed because of his world-class wanger. Even though he didn't win a medal, he did get a $250,000 offer from adult website Cam Soda to show off his goods. No word yet as to whether or not he is accepted.
I went to Cam Soda on a work computer and saw he's not there yet. So,
No.
but
Research.
good for him. He really, he wins the Olympics. Man, he doesn't go home with a gold medal. Who gives a shit? Everyone in the world knows that. And that story and the fact he's a pole vaulter, that is the bar story of all bar stories.
Isn't it?
He will never go home alone ever again. I can only imagine what the Olympic Village looks like right now. Like it has been skewered by one pole vault. Pole. Just running the table on it.
Are we sure that it was the pole part and not like the
Have you seen the video?
Oh, Kay, when you see it, unless he was able to somehow tuck it circa Silence of the Lambs, there was no way. I can't believe that hadn't become a factor before he got to the Olympic Games, because that thing was spectacular. Couldn't stop looking. I watched it 400 times just to make sure it was real, Kay, and that was real. And you know what? I hope that, he could be a grower, not a shower. We don't know. He gets lightheaded when that thing gets excited. He actually pole vaults with it if he's hard. That's the only reason it was in his pants, because typically I like to just use this, but this international stage has made it nervous. I had stage fright, so I had to use an actual pole, and hence my regular pole got stuck on the crossbar.
The rash is coming back on my neck.
And that wraps up the news. Back to you, Kay. Now we got to get Bob the Cap Catcher, Hawk to a Girl, and Mr. Ammirati, the pole vaulting
stallion
wizard.
Stallion wizard with his wizard staff.
That's wizard staff. You know what his nickname is in the Olympic Village? Toucan Sam, because it looks like two cans stacked on top of one another.
Mine's like a tuna can.
Yeah, girth, but not the length. But that's okay. Short strokes, Todd. Short strokes.
Not only is it short, but skinny too.
Is Ammirati French for horse choker?
I don't know. To get your Google translation on that, I don't know. That would be interesting to find.
This is the content people come here for, so I'm glad that we are delivering.
So, back to our debate. I wanted to start off with a couple of questions first. So, Connor Orr of Sports Illustrated, he does his predictions, and he makes this full list of these random predictions from, like, who's going to win to who's going to score the most points to who's going to be fired, blah, blah, blah. But then he goes into little random things, and so I wanted to ask you guys a few of these questions that he had listed. So, number 1, Detroit Lions, near and dear to my heart, will defeat the Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl this year.
Oh, I like that you just cherry-picked this one quote-unquote expert.
It was the first one!
I think, to be honest, and this is not just me saying this because you're here, Kay, and I'm a Vikings fan, this is one of those years where the Lions take a step back. They won't be able to quite explain it, but they will not even make it to the NFC Championship game. They might not even win. Well, they're not going to win the NFC North, but it's going to be one of those years like, what do we do wrong? Back to the drawing board, because you have that immediate success. There is always kind of that step back the next year. It's just how it is. It's just how it is in the NFL. With the parity the way it is, you've got other teams getting better. They've gotten better. You've remained static, thinking that you will just do the same thing next year, but it's not going to happen.
You don't think that we have the fire behind us to push us through when we got so freaking close last year?
Yeah, that's the problem. You should look at the Minnesota Vikings track record and what happens the year after they get to the NFC Championship game or win the NFC North. You take a back pedal. And the thing is, you can only talk about biting people's kneecaps and ankles so much before, that dog and pony show kind of wears off. You know what I'm saying? Sooner or later, you're going to have to actually coach these kids. So
I'd like to see what the odds. I mean, I can throw down $10 on that.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, that the
Detroit
Lions
Cincy Super Bowl match.
Oh, interesting. Todd's in. And I don't think Cincinnati's going to make it either. They're the bridesmaid of the AFC for sure. Always the bridesmaid. They're never, but them and Buffalo. Yeah, no. You've got other teams that are leapfrogging them. So, yeah, I mean, Baltimore.
It's still Chiefs Kingdom, and we're all just living in it. Let's face that.
Chiefs, Ravens, Dolphins. I mean, who knows the Jets? Who knows what the Jets could do? And the Steelers now have not one but 2 mobile quarterbacks that one of them could get hot, and it's anybody's game over there in the AFC, to be perfectly honest. That being said, the Chiefs will probably just run the table.
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce will not get engaged. But will they break up?
Yes,
You think you think they'll break up?
they will. And she'll break up with him. It's not going to be, he's not going to dump her. She's going to dump him. They're going to get in a spat. There's going to be several concerts he can't attend and several games she can't attend. And it's just going to get between them. And also, something could be said, something could be done. Travis Kelce, he's a professional athlete. He's a wild man. I don't know. I just don't see it. I just don't see it long term, Kay.
That breaks my heart.
Well, what is she going to do? Write an album about how happy she is?
I know, right?
Yeah, we're doing this for the Swifties out there.
A semi-credible but somewhat suspicious Tom Brady unretirement rumor will attach itself to one of the 4 teams playing on Christmas Day on Netflix.
This is like Brett Favre all over again.
God.
Jesus Christ, do we have to listen to this
Listen,
again?
he who shall not be named, I do not need to relive that. Can I say on the record, and I will say it on the record, that I was beyond pissed when the Vikings signed Brett Favre to come play quarterback for them. And I know in that first season, everybody was so excited. Look what he did. Brett has taken us to the promised land. And I kept saying, you wait. That fucker has broken our hearts for this many seasons. He's going to do it again. And by God, that's exactly what happened. Oh, he got you to the NFC Championship game like the Vikings could do without him. And oh, he shit the bed because inside, deep down, there's still a little bit of Packer in him.
That must have made your head explode when he signed with your team.
It pissed me off to no end. And everybody around me thought it was the best ever, and they started winning. And I kind of checked out for that season. And even in the NFC Championship game, I said, I want nothing to do with this because I know how this is going to end. And it did. It ended poorly. And it's just. And then they brought him back for another year. I said, sweet Jesus. Sadly, actually, I was like, well, maybe, you know what? They got pretty close. Maybe they should bring him back. They got all the pieces otherwise. What they do, Kay? Huge step backwards. So
just the perpetual Lucy pulling the ball out from Charlie Brown.
That's all it is. That's life as a Vikings fan.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers will not win the Comeback Player of the Year award.
Well, who was the guy? Who was the running back that's like leg actually came off at the kneecap? He plays for was it Chubb? I think this guy plays for the Browns. I'd have to look this up. We should come. It might have been Nick Chubb. I mean, one of the most horrific injuries I've ever seen in the history of the NFL, and it sounds like he's coming back to play this year, and I wouldn't. I would be done. I'd take my money and run.
Wowzers. Last one, the Super Bowl halftime show will come down to a choice between Pitbull and Miley Cyrus. Who would you like to see do the Super Bowl halftime show?
And that's my choice?
Yeah, I say, can we go with other choices?
That's
like
what
reanimated Michael Jackson?
This is just what this Connor Orr is saying, is that it's going to come down between Pitbull and Miley Cyrus.
Well, he's been wrong about everything so far. So, I mean, they are running out of ideas. They need to either have to rehash or go a different direction. Both of those are terrible choices, obviously. I would still say, why hasn't it just been the Garth Brooks halftime show? I feel like country and Western music is very popular in this country, and Garth is one of those guys that has so many hits, he could do a full halftime show, and he's more than happy to medley it up. Whereas, unless we can somehow reanimate Prince, I just don't see, or Tom Petty, I just don't see.
Which they both did it.
And they both were two of my favorites.
My neck of the woods, there's still this push for Metallica.
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome. I'd be down for Metallica. I guess to a lesser extent, maybe the Foo Fighters?
Foos would put on a show.
That would be good. Foo Fighters, that would be
It's
good.
Dave Grohl's world, and we're all just living in it.
100%, right?
Yes.
And yeah, because there's only, they've gone through kind of the mega pop stars and the has-been classic rock stars, and yeah, they got to find some new avenue. But anyway.
Could you imagine like a Dave Matthews Band halftime show? Everybody's asleep.
Okay. Do you know what Dave Matthews fans say when they run out of weed?
What?
Man, this music sucks.
What do you mean I can't bring my hula hoop into the stadium? I'm here for a Dave Matthews concert. Sir, it's the Super Bowl.
Which brings up the notion of why not when you go to a concert, they take a 15-minute intermission and they play a miniature football game.
A halftime.
Oh my God, Todd, you're brilliant.
Make like little kids playing football too, like the
mini
Pee-wees.
Stonehenge from Spinal Tap. It's a little mini football game at intermission of the concert.
That's brilliant. Brought to you by Sweat Socks and All That Sauce.
Hello. Right.
Amazing. we're really onto something. We've really covered a lot of important topics today.
Has anybody done the research as to who's going to what kind of research have you guys done? Like, where have you gotten to when it comes to the 2024 season?
Well, I've listened to I read an article in Sports Illustrated by Cobby Orr. What was his name?
Connor Orr.
Connor Orr, yeah. So I've heard some things that Connor Orr predicted for the season, and that's pretty much the extent of my research into the upcoming season.
Like I said, I'm still waiting to have my heart ripped out, and then once that happens and baseball is officially over for me in 2024, then I will throw my full energies.
Sure. I'd like to say also, though, because Todd is not paying attention yet, that I have been paying attention to his Seahawks, and this is going to be a turnaround year. Everyone is kind of counting them out, and I got to say, I like the Seahawks' chances. If they can just maybe split with the 49ers in that NFC West, maybe those two games, they got a shot. They got a shot. The Rams are a shell of their former selves. The Cardinals are still the Cardinals. New coach, new mentality, new defense. Geno going to bounce back.
But it takes time. But it takes time to work that through, and the Detroit Lions are a perfect example of that. I think it's not gonna happen this year for them. I put them in the NFC West. I put Seattle Seahawks at number 4.
Is that what Connor Orr said?
No, that's just what my research said.
Your research?
Okay, I smell a wager right there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take that bet.
Yeah, there you go. Seahawks last in the NFC West.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll take whatever we want to do. What extra tattoo are we getting? Maybe this is branding. We go past ink. Now we're getting hot metal involved. I'm in.
I made a bracket of all of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL for the 2024
What are you going to do with that? Are you picking which one is going to end up as the hottest?
I picked which one's the hottest, so I teamed them all up against each other.
Well, I hope you have Gordon Minshew winning the whole thing, because that mustache is heads and tails above anybody else.
I get the feeling this is circling back to your high school. I can't quite connect the dots yet, but like you're gonna tie in these dudes from your sophomore year.
JJ McCarthy somehow go to the same high school you did? I'm just curious. Yeah,
she's gonna pull. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
she's gonna pull a picture and guess. Read this
No.
one. Forgot all about that guy. He's in the NFL now.
Oh,
So
wow.
it came down to the final 4. I don't know how to say all these
Stidham?
names. Jarrett Stidham?
Yes.
Stidham. Jalen Hurts, Bryce Young, and Derek Carr. Those are the final 4.
Your analysis of men is terrible.
And it comes down to the final 2, which is Jalen Hurts versus Bryce Young, and Jalen Hurts wins it all.
So that's in the bracket that Kay created based on Kay's taste in men. She says Jalen Hurts is the MVP or MFP.
Yeah, and see, this is totally subjective. This is like what we talked about, what we didn't like about the Olympics. You should do it a la Anthony Ammirati and just start going. Hey, Justin, you know this. The kid that took the Eagles to the Super Bowl, Nick Foles. You know what his locker room nickname was?
What was that?
You don't know?
No, I forget.
Big Dick Nick.
There it is. I just wanted him to say it. Thank you.
Okay, you son.
They were a little worried because their quarterback went down. And then that guy stepped into the locker room, got in the shower, and everyone had nothing but confidence. Like, we were going to be just fine.
It's not about the size. It's about how you work it.
I tell myself that a lot, Kay. Thank you for that. I wonder if Nick Foles was a good pole vaulter.
When I met my wife, she's like, you got to know, I don't take a man less than 8 inches. And I was like, I ain't folding this in half for anybody. She's going to hate me for that one.
Todd and Justin, have you guys come up with what the matchup for the Super Bowl is going to be?
Now that you've given me 8.7 seconds to kind of think about it, I honestly, I wouldn't 100% be shocked if the Detroit Lions managed to make it. And I'm not.
Eye roll from Justin. Big eye roll.
It's going to be the frickin' Chiefs again. And probably beat Buffalo in the championship game. and there'll be 3 touchdowns in the final 12 seconds of the game. And then in the NFC, that's a lot tougher.
It's
49ers. I don't know.
They can only do that for so many years, though. I feel like their window may be closing.
I think you're right, actually.
I'm kind of
their window's closed. I think this is their last year, for sure. Has to be. So what everybody's saying is it's going to be. Oh, sorry, Justin. Go ahead. Justin, what's yours prediction?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, the Minnesota Vikings are a lock. I mean, I've looked at the schedule. I don't see an L. I just don't see one on there. They're better than everyone they're playing against.
You are blinded.
Number 1 seed overall, home field advantage, and then the AFC is a little dicier. I think one of 2 things. I don't think the Chiefs are going to do it. I just don't think you can do. Maybe next year. This year is an off year for them. It's Ravens or it's Steelers. I really think one of those 2 teams has made like enough of a push to really finally get there and get past the Chiefs. But I'm going to say Vikings Steelers because those are my 2 favorite teams growing up, and that's what I want to see in the Super Bowl, although I'll be sad because one of them loses.
I love how
Well, it'll probably be the fucking Vikings.
I love how I've put the Steelers to be last in the AFC North. So
Which is one of the reasons I picked them as my favorite.
what everybody's saying is it's going to be the Jets versus the Packers, with the Jets winning it all.
That's, I'm sure, what the ESPN is hoping for. But no, I'm sorry. Yes, Titletown, Cowtown, sleepy little Green Bay. What a Cinderella story. Battling
New York.
their boy who went to the big city
Right.
to prove him wrong. No, God, I will be. Yeah, at that point, I'm watching the Puppy Bowl on the loop. You won't catch me until Garth comes on with the Foo Fighters for the halftime show. I will actually go to that Super Bowl party to watch the fucking commercials.
So what we've rounded out this episode is that if the Lions or the Vikings make it to the Super Bowl, Justin or I have to get the other team's tattoo. Right?
Now just make it, win it.
Win it, right.
Yes.
Win, that's a key word. And then, Todd, how are you entering this again?
Justin's wrong on one thing. The Vikings will not go undefeated as they have to travel to Seattle to take on my Seahawks. And him and I have plans to attend that game. And so, 15-1, maybe the Vikings.
I could see that 15 could be,
but they will not. They will not win in Seattle. I can guarantee you that. Maybe that's our bet.
I like it, but I don't want to do a tattoo for one game.
I'm not getting a fucking tattoo. I can guarantee you that, man. I will stand out here with whatever goofball leotard you want to put me in and have my Anthony Amorati moment.
Yeah, we're gonna get a pole vault set up. We're gonna put it on the sidewalk out in front of the building here, and one of the loser's gonna have to actually try to clear it.
And we all agree that the prediction of the Jets versus the Packers is not going to happen.
That's folly.
I don't see that.
The stupidest thing I've heard today, and I've heard some stupid shit so far. So.
And if it does happen, it's all rigged. That's my determination.
I'd be more willing to go. Yeah, this is all rigged.
Yeah,
This whole thing's scripted.
Yeah, I do like a good conspiracy theory when it's true. That would be pretty accurate.
To send us out, as always, each week, Justin gives us his wise words of wisdom.
I'd really like to tie together something that we said earlier today when we were talking about the concert with the halftime show with the sports involved. Yes. I was at a concert over the weekend, and I saw something I had not seen in quite a long time. And, typically now when, the band plays the ballad, the banger, the lights are down, everybody gets their cell phones out, and the LED lights are glowing as they go back and forth, and I fucking hate it. Because it's not an army of fire. That is not. When the Zippos all came out in the whole place, I mean, it was a fire hazard. There was so much hairspray in the hair. I mean, people could have lost their lives. But you know what? There was something about that warm glow of all of us with the lighters in our pockets we'd stolen from our dads that we were using to illuminate the arena, the stadium. At the concert I was at over the weekend, I don't even know what song it was, but one kid, and he was a kid. He looked like he was 20. Reached into his pocket and pulled out this little Bic lighter and held that sumbitch up and waved it back and forth. And at that point, if I had had a lighter on my person, I would have joined him in solidarity. I said, that kid is bringing it back. And that's what I want to do. Fuck the cell phones. Put them down. When you're at the concert or at the sporting event, we need to bring the lighters back. And I know that nobody smokes anymore, but I had an idea, actually.
I like this.
What if we brought Lighters in the Air back to the rock show? And by that, I mean, I'm going to be going to a rock show here in a couple of months. And what if we just got a bunch of lighters and, like, I just handed them out at the gate? I'm like, I don't care if you're smoking, here you go. And we'll put the Sweat Socks and All That Sauce logo on it and a QR code on the back.
Yes,
So then they can point the phone
Justin!
at it, and it sends a link. Because these are the kind of people we want listening to this podcast. That is our target demographic as far as I can tell. So, if you were not at that particular concert and you don't get one of our 1,000 Sweat Socks and All That Sauce lighters, please make your own. Just please make it a habit of putting a lighter in your pocket before you go to the arena or to the stadium. Let's bring it back. Lighters in the air in the middle of a rock show. R.I.P. Jake Owen.
Thanks for joining Sweat Socks and All That Sauce with Justin K. and Todd. Next week, we're going to debate.
It'll be something baseball related. Pennant predictions.
Pennant fever.
Oh, there we go.
What's that?
You'll know it when you get it, Kay.
You're a Tiger fan. So.
Yeah.
Remember, you can watch the show on YouTube. We've got our Instagram up and running at Sweat Socks Pod. And if you want to chime in, feel free to send us an email at sweatsockspodcast@gmail.com. Till next time.
Stay sweaty.
I'm very sweaty at the minute.
Sweaty. That was hot.
Sweat Socks and All That Sauce is hosted by Todd Lyons, Kay White, and Justin Michaels.
Our theme song made by Pat Leonards.
And the album artwork is by Mike Willis.